Good morning, real estate fans. Alice Lema here, broker John L. Scott, beautiful Southern Oregon, with another edition of the weekly podcast. Today, we're going to pose the question, will millennials save the housing market? What? I think they might. We've got 4 reasons to consider and some data to back it up. My favorite. Okay, before we get to that, let's give you a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Give us a like, give us a thumbs up. Send it to your friends and family. That's what it's for. It's to help educate people. And if you need to speak to me privately, personally this weekend about your real estate stuff, 541-301-7980. It's floating around up there somewhere. Okay. So let's jump into this fascinating question. Will millennials save the housing market? Got 4 things to consider, and we want to talk about the data. So first of all, just a reminder that the millennial generation is the largest generation in America. It's 80 million strong. That's a lot of bodies. Now, they not only are the biggest generation size in the United States, but they're also the biggest number of home buyers. And people keep forgetting, over 40%, according to NAR, National Association of Realtors, over 40% of the home buyers right now are millennials. They're keeping it going. They're the ones putting the bottom in right now, or at least one of the reasons we have a bottom kind of settling into our housing market. Number 2, just because there's so many of them and they've waited so long, they have an eagerness to be homeowners. And so it's actually shaping the housing market because they're still out there, even after all these interest rate increases and need bigger down payments and less supply. They're still the ones out there writing the offers. Okay, so the number 2 is just their sheer numbers and the eagerness that goes with that number of people out in force in the housing market. Number 3, we used to call them the rent generation. Some people still do, but you know what? They actually don't want to be renters, or at least they don't want to be anymore. So that whole mindset is different. Now they want to be homeowners. And because they're digital and they grew up digitally, they've already done a lot of research on their own. So they know the value of homeownership. They know the wealth building of homeownership. They don't have to go experience it. They learned about it on the internet. They learned about it on the internet. So here you go. When you get a phone call from a millennial who want to talk about buying a house, they're pretty ready to go and they're pretty well informed. It's super fun. But then they still need help getting out there and making it happen. But they are one of the most informed, business savvy, house savvy, money savvy generation a lot of us have run into in a long time, and it's super fun to help them. So number 4, we have a quote from a chief economist from First American Title. His name is Mark Fleming. And I just want to read this to you because I think it's very revealing. So as Mark Fleming, chief economist of First American Title, says, while it's not the frenzy of 2021, the largest living generation, which are the millennials, will continue to age into prime home buying years, creating a demographic tailwind for the housing market. So there you go. Chief economist, First American Title, Mark Fleming, he's saying that just the sheer numbers and the eagerness and the readiness of this giant millennial generation can make a huge difference in our housing market. So that can be one of the elements that we're watching settle, moderate, and normalize our market. We'll see. It's why we talk about this every week. So I want to leave you with a chart. This is also from National Association of Realtors. And you can see by generation how they're tracking the buyers and the sellers. And you can see the older millennials are separated from the younger millennials. And then we've also got all the way down to the silent generation, the older boomers, younger boomers. It's a really good chart. It's really fun to kind of dive down into, and you can see who's moving where in the process, who's going to be a seller, who's going to be a buyer. So yeah, so there you go. There's the data. I'm pulling for the millennials, and I have to tell you, it's my experience every week. They're the ones that are out there, and they are relentless, but it's hard. So if you have millennials in your friend or family sphere and you're watching them go through this process, if you're in a position to help with money Not advice, because most of them don't need advice. They need money. They either need more down payment or they might need closing costs. They might need help buying down their interest rate so the payment's not so high. Yeah. So if you can help them out with that, that would be stellar. Because everybody, if they want and they want to work hard and own a home, they should be able to own a home if they want to go through that process. So sometimes the kids need a little help. Hope you'll think about doing that. Okay. In the meantime, have a beautiful weekend. Again, if you want to chat with me, you can text or call 541-301-7980. Otherwise, have a beautiful weekend. Hug those you love, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.